What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Sports with Jake. Hope you're all doing well. Let's start with the MLB standings. Do a little check on that as we are winding down in the season. We are now into August. Orioles and Yankees are tied for first in the American League East, 68 and 47 on the year. Yankees have played a little bit better since the trade deadline, so they pick up Josh Chisholm to help their lineup and Mark Ward to help the bullpen. Should have done a little more, I thought, but it has helped. I got the Red Sox at 6 games out. They're at 61 and 52. You have Tampa at 57 and 56. I'm sure they'll start collapsing soon as they completely just tore apart their team at the deadline. And then the Blue Jays 52 and 62. They're out of the race. They also sold off a lot of impending trades at the trade deadline. Cleveland Guardians are in first in the American League Central, so 67 and 47. But they've been struggling. They've lost 5 straight games. Minnesota Twins and the Kansas City Royals started to close in on them. Twins are at 63 and 50, only 3.5 games out of first place. Kansas City is at 64 and 52, only 4 games out of first place. And you have the Tigers at 55 and 60. They're out of the race. And the White Sox are at 28 and 89. They are 61 games below 500. They have lost 22 of the last 23 games. They are 36.5 games out of the playoffs, 40.5 games out of the division. And they came out this morning, they have fired Pedro Grifol, their manager, in only his second year on the job. GM gets a change was necessary. Look, I didn't think he was that great of a manager. I didn't love the hire when they hired him last year. He was a quality control coach for the Royals. Quality control coach is basically like your some of your responsibilities are as like another assistant coach to the manager, and you also kind of help out you're almost also like assistant GM to the GM in the front office. It's like a mixture of things. And he went right from that in Kansas City when they were really bad to the manager of the White Sox who were coming off, obviously the Tony La Russa tenure. And, team that had the talent just needed the right voice. And, last year they underperformed again and missed the playoffs. And this year they've obviously been one of the worst teams ever this year. They just broke a 21-game losing streak, but started another one losing last night. So they've lost 22 of their last 23 games. Just so bad. His team isn't very good. Just look at the squad he's got. The only piece there he had, you traded Dylan Cease, very early on in the season. You traded a bunch of guys in the offseason. The team was never any good. Old. Also, you traded away a bunch of pieces. Didn't even get a lot back either from all those guys. So, look, I don't think Chris Getz is doing a great job since he became the GM a year or two ago, but he wasn't the best manager either. That being said, I don't think it's changed really anything. That team is just so far gone. They might really be the worst team in MLB history. It's very, very sad how bad they are. American League West, Houston Astros are in their own sole position in the first place, a half game ahead of Seattle at 59 and 55. Seattle's at 59 and 56. They're a half game out. That's at 54 and 61. They're 5.5 games out. And the Angels are 50 and 64. They are out of the race, and Oakland at 48 and 68. They haven't been quite as bad as I thought, but still they're not very good. And to the National League East, Philadelphia Phillies 68 and 46. They are the best team in all of baseball right now. They've had a phenomenal season. You have the Braves at 60 and 53. They've lost 4 in a row, but they're still hanging in there. You have the Mets at 60 and 54. I thought would be very bad. They've been a lot better than I expected. They were at one point 11 games under 500 at the end of May, but then all of a sudden, Grimace throws up the first pitch. You bring in Jose Iglesias, who writes some weird Spanish song that all the players like, and all of a sudden they were able to turn their season around. They're right in the thick of the wild card race now. Nationals at 52 and 63 are out of the race, and the Marlins at 43 and 72 are obviously way out of the race. Week Central, Milwaukee Brewers 64 and 49 are in first place. They've been a pleasant surprise. Also, a lot in the offseason. Their manager, Craig Counsell, left and went to the Cubs. Their GM, Stearns, took the president of baseball operations job with the Mets. You trade Corbin Burns away in the offseason. Brandon Woodruff is out for the entire year. Devin Williams, their closer, hasn't pitched this year. Have a lot of injuries, but still have played really, really well this year. A lot of young guys have stepped up. You have the Cardinals at 59 and 56. Look, the National League's been really bad. The fact that they're only 3 games under 500 and they're right there in the wild card race. I thought that'd be a lot worse than they are. That team is so old. Their average age is 31. That's insane. Paul Goldschmidt's fallen off a cliff. He seems like he doesn't have much left in his career. The team is so old. The Mets played them couple days ago. And it was a one game, was a makeup game from back in May. That got rained out. Like the guys that were rolling out, some of these guys, like these guys are so past their prime I've never heard of them. Like, how is this team within like extreme strengths of the wild card? They're only six games out of the division as well. There's the Pirates at 56 and 57. Obviously, Paul Skeen's been a revelation for them. They got some young pieces over there. They're 8 games out. They're hanging by a thread in the wild card race. Cubs 7 and 60, kind of the same thing. Although they made some weird moves to buy the trade deadline. And the Reds are at 55 and 59, kind of, same thing as the Cubs, kind of hanging by a thread in the wild card race. The West, Dodgers are at 66 and 49. But that division race is heating up. The Diamondbacks and Padres have both been extremely hot lately since the break. Both are at 63 and 52. Both are only 3 games behind the Dodgers in the National League West. Those two teams are rolling. Both those teams won also like a couple of games since the break. Yeah, but Giants at 58 at 500, hanging on the wild card race, and the Rockies at 42 and 73 are just beyond pathetic. All right, let's talk about the wild card race. Obviously, it's get to be that time. It's August 8th. We only have 2 months to go in the regular season. We're in the American League wild card. First wild card, well, it's already a tie between the Orioles and the Yankees. I think the Orioles have a tiebreaker right now, so I guess it'd be the Yankees. Second wild card, the Twins. The wild card right now is the Kansas City Royals. We're a half game behind Minnesota. You have Boston's a game and a half out. Mariners are 4.5 games out. Of course, they're only half game out of the division as well. Braves are actually only 5.5 games out of the wild card, but they're probably going to drop, and everyone else is pretty far out. In the National League, yeah, but Diamondbacks and Padres tie for the first 2 spots. The Braves are the last spot. They're 2 games back of Arizona and San Diego. The Mets are only a half game behind Atlanta for the last spot. You have the Cardinals are 2 games out. The Giants are 3.5 games out. Pirates are 4 games out. Cubs are 5 games out, and the Reds are 5.5 games out. Everyone else, the Nationals, Marlins, and Rockies are pretty much out of the race. Now, that is the wild card standings right now for baseball. Quick announcement: Nick Foles has announced retirement. For most of his career, was a backup quarterback, but he obviously had the incredible run in 2017 with the Philadelphia Eagles. MVP candidate Carson Wentz goes down for torn ACL late in the season, and they had the best team in the league. Everyone thought the season was over. Foles takes over, has an incredible postseason run, had the game of his life in the Super Bowl MVP. He was always a good backup, and he announced his retirement after 11 seasons in the NFL. All right, so let's talk about the Madden top 10 receivers according to Madden. I'm going to do my top 10 receivers going into the NFL season, and then we will wrap the show from there. So let's get started, Madden. Number 10 is Mike Evans at 91. Number 9 is Brandon Ayuk at 91. Number 8 is Stephon Diggs at 92. 7 is Jamar Chase at 93. Devontae Adams is 6 at 94. Amon-Ra St. Brown is at 5 at 95. A.J. Brown's at 4 of 95. C. Lamb's at 3 of 96. Justin Jefferson's at 2 at 98. Terry gets at 1 at 99. Part of a 99 club. These weren't bad. These are probably they're better than the quarterbacks and definitely better than the running backs. I think Ayuk's a little bit high. A lot of people feel like overrate him. He's a very good receiver, but a lot of people overrate him. He obviously overrates himself. Sure. There's some guys below him, like Jim Moore at an 89. I thought that was a little bit low for him. I would have probably swapped him and Ayuk. Put more than 91 in the 9 spot there, and then you put Ayuk at the more spot at 89. So I thought that was thought they had him a little bit low. Even Debo at 87. 87 is a horrible rating for him, but I thought he should have been a little bit closer to the top 10. I agree with having the top 3 be Hale, Jefferson, and Lamb for sure. We don't have JJ's over Hale, but the 2 guys are probably interchangeable at this point. Jefferson did miss a lot of games last year. Coming around with top 5 up. I would probably have Chase a little bit higher. You could argue Devonta should be a smidge lower, but he's still really, really good. It's a pretty good list, I thought. For certain guys, if you scroll down, like you had DeAndre Hopkins at 89, I think he should be a little bit lower. You had Mike Williams at 87, should probably a little bit lower. He played like 1 game last year. Other than that, didn't really have too many problems. So just the main things I would do is probably swap Ayuk and DJ Moore. And I'd probably put Chase a little higher. I might put around a smidge lower. I like AJ Brown a lot. It's weird. His numbers were pretty much the same from the year before last year. And the year before, it was like, oh, this guy's a stud. He's top 5. And last year, everyone was like, oh, he's like, left the rest of the Eagles team. He fell off. He was so good in the first half of the season to the point where we were talking about him for possibly being the MVP. And then he kind of slowed down the stretch, but he still had a great year. He's a great receiver. He's a stud. So I would probably have him a smidge lower. Like, I would maybe. Like Chase to 93, Brown to 95, I would have probably swapped the two of them. That's probably as far as I would have gone. So, if I had a few tweaks, I think Madden actually did a good job with the wide receiver rankings, surprisingly. And I never thought I'd say that, but did a pretty good job. All right, so let's close up the show with my top 10 wide receivers heading into this NFL season. At number 10, I have Mike Evans. The guy's got a 1,000-yard year every single year he's been in the league. He's got like 10 or 11 straight 1,000-yard seasons. Definitely a future Hall of Famer. Plus, he's a Super Bowl ring. This guy's still a great receiver, getting a little bit older, but still a great receiver in the league. Obviously, Buffs re-signed him in the offseason, I think, to a 3-year deal. Definitely the right move. He's an absolute stud, and he's still a very good receiver. By the way, the honorable mention, the guy who just missed the list was Jalen Waddle. He's very good. I just couldn't quite have him in the top 10. Number 9, I had Stephon Diggs. Bit of a down year last year. Struggled down the stretch last year. Obviously, he had some, he has got some attitude problems, but he's still a great receiver. Another guy who's starting to age a tiny bit, but he's still really good. Still had well over 1,000 yards last year. He's still a really good receiver, and he's got another great quarterback in CJ Stroud. The guy's a great receiver. I still have him as the ninth receiver in the league. Number 8 was Deebo Samuel. He has a lot of injury concerns, and he's more of a weapon than a true receiver because the Foles kind of use him all over the field. But when he's healthy, the guy's a great player. Whether he's catching or using him out of the backfield, however you're using them, the guy just he produces in whatever role that you have him in. He's a great player. I take him on my team 10 times out of 10. Number 7, I have DJ Moore. This guy has quietly become one of the best receivers in the league. He was always right in Carolina. He just had really bad quarterback play on some really bad teams. Kind of flew under the radar. He really broke out last year with the Bears. It's good. Like his numbers, it was especially his career last year with the Bears. It wasn't that far off what he was doing in Carolina. Like in Carolina, the guy was putting together 1,100 yards every year, pretty much. And last year he had a little over 1,300 yards. So it's a career year, but so is it like a true breakout though? Yeah, like another 200 yards. I'm sure he might have had more catches, just because you went. I mean, Justin Fields was didn't have the best year last year, but it's better than Carolina running out Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield before he had the breakout year last year. And freaking Cam Newton with one arm, basically. But he's always been a great receiver. First round pick for a reason. He's a stud. Next, I have AJ Brown. I was just talking about this with the Madden ratings. Yes, he slowed down a lot down the stretch last year, but he still had a great year. Still had over 1,400 yards. He's still a stud. First half of the year, he was proud best receiver in the league. We were talking about him for MVP about the midway mark last year. Slowed down like the rest of the Eagles team, and they collapsed down the stretch last year. But he's a great player. He's always been really good. He was a stud at Ole Miss. Surprised he even slipped to the second round. He's also in really good shape. And he was great in Tennessee, and also they traded him to the Eagles, which is obviously a big mistake by them. And he's only broken out even more for the Eagles. At 5, I have Ross St. Brown. This guy is an absolute stud. One of the most motivated players in the league. Of course, he had the whole thing where he writes down the players that were drafted ahead of him. Only a 4th-round pick. The guy has been absolutely nothing but great. Breakout. Your best year of his career last year was first team All-Pro. For a reason, he's got a $120 million extension for a reason. He's an absolute stud. I have him at number 5. At 4, I have Jamar Chase. Guy's a superstar. Obviously, he missed a bunch of games last year, so otherwise he could have even been even higher. Plus, there's a lot of very good talent at wide receiver in the NFL today. But the guy's a great player. He's actually been playing with Joe Burrow his entire life. He's absolute superstar. I'm bringing out CeeDee Lamb. This guy is an absolute stud. He's always been a great receiver when he was at Oklahoma his entire time in Dallas, but absolute monster breakout year last year. Absolute superstar. Hopefully Dallas pays him sooner rather than later. Well, he's going to leave. Number 2 is Tyreek Hill. I have Hill at 2. The guy's absolutely amazing. He's probably going to be a Hall of Famer. He's a really crappy person. I think he's an absolute asshole. He obviously needs to, kind of control himself a little bit more, but as a talent, he is absolutely amazing. Maybe the fastest player in NFL history. Game-changing talent. Number one, I still love Justin Jefferson. I know he missed a lot of games last year, but he's still over 1,000 yards and only played 11 games. The guy's is absolutely amazing. Doesn't matter who you throw out there with his quarterback, Kirk Cousins, Jaron Hall, Nick Mullins, Josh Dobbs. Now he's going to have J.J. McCarthy or Sam Darnold. The guy's just amazing. Absolute superstar receiver in the league. The reason he just got the highest paid contract that receiver's ever gotten. All right. That's all I got for you guys today. I'm going to do a show tomorrow. That is the plan. And then I may be getting an employment opportunity. If so, I may have to only do the show on weekends, but I'm not sure about that, so I'll keep you guys posted. But tomorrow there, I will do a show. And then from there, it depends on what goes on from there. So, but you will see tomorrow. Until next time, so long. Have a great day.